Welcome everybody, and thank you East Longmeadow Library for asking me back again. In January, I came in to talk about hypnosis and the benefits of hypnosis. Lindsay asked me to do the talk again, but this month's topic was exercising the brain through reading and so forth. So we're doing a little different slant. We're going to talk about creative visualization and mental rehearsal. Does anyone in here know that or practice it?
We do affirmation.
Okay.
I do too, affirmations.
Okay. Have you ever learned how to do creative visualization?
Don't recall.
Well, by the way, I'm Sandy Neumann from Springfield Valley Hypnosis Center, and what I do is I help people transform their lives. Either achieving their goals, learning how to get the most out of their brain, the most out of their potential, so they can learn and grow in many different ways. I have a few people that have been past former clients, either coaching clients or hypnosis clients. They've all had to learn creative visualization as part of the process. It's very beneficial for many different ways. Anybody know anybody who's used it? Okay, you've all used it. Since you were very little, do you remember imagining? Do you remember daydreaming? Anybody still do that?
All the time.
Good, good.
That's why I don't get anything done.
Sometimes it's better to be out in here than out here, right? Did you say you use it? You like to imagine?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we as humans, part of our reason for being here is to create, right? So where do we create?
In our heads.
It starts with a thought. All these wonderful things that we've seen, somebody invented a banner because they thought they saw it. So that's what it is. It's nothing new, it's very old, we've always used it. It's just that nobody has really ever taught us how to focus it and how to get us what we want by using the power of our own subconscious and conscious mind. So we're going to talk today a little bit about it. I did do an agenda. Just so you can kind of follow along, and we only have an hour, so we're going to see how far we get with everything, because I do want to take you through an exercise. All right? So if you look at the first page called Creative Visualization, some of my favorite quotes there. One of the ones I love is, "The soul never thinks without a picture." And that's exactly right. We learn by visualizing. For example, if I tell you 3 words and just do them differently, tell me what happens. The dog bit the man. Anybody see a picture of that in your head? Now, the man bit the dog. Same words, different picture, right? So we constantly are taking information in and visualizing it, and that tells a story, right? Children love to hear stories. Why?
Because they're visualizing what you're saying.
Exactly. They hear it, they visualize it, and they become to believe it, whether it's true or not. And that's part of the problem. We're all influenced in many ways. And the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if someone were to tell you, you were going to go out there and get in a car accident, how many of you would believe it and how many would say no? How many might think it's a possibility?
If someone said it to you,
Yeah.
I would say no.
Based on what?
That they didn't have any reason to say that.
What if they just felt it and said, be very careful. I have a feeling you're going to be in an accident.
There is a possibility.
I guess I'd just be careful, but I'd still go, but I'd think about it maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because what would happen is you would see that picture in your head, and then you probably couldn't help but thinking, well, what if I do? You know, as you're driving, what if I do? And then you're kind of looking.
Power of
expecting.
suggestion.
Exactly. So we're influenced every day by the news, by what we read, by what our friends say, by what our parents say. And we don't have those filters to say this is correct or this is not correct. It's all based on our individual belief system. So if you're all very happy with where you are in your life and you don't want to make any changes, then that's great. But if you could make better changes and make your life even happier, what would that look like? Anybody have anything that they've been secretly working on by themselves? Trying to create a new habit or get rid of an old one, or?
Maintaining vibrant health is a focus of mine right now.
Okay. Well, that's a vast variety of ways you can do that, right? Is there any single one way that you're attempting to do that?
Pausing when I feel anxious. I have a lot of energy and I get a little bit of a energizer bunny in me.
Okay.
So my lungs, expanding my lungs and taking a deep breath and just being here now
Yeah.
quiets me and gets me focused in the moment
Right.
instead of concerning myself with the future.
Exactly right. That's one way. So, what's your name?
Karen.
Karen. So what Karen's also doing is she's telling herself that first, right? Be calm, be focused, relax. And then she gets a visual of what that feels like, what that looks like. And you're aware of it.
And now it's a habit.
And now it's a habit.
It's my go-to. It's become my go-to. You know, just take a breath and pause. Take a breath, take a deep breath, fill my lungs up, through my nose. You know, it's yoga, it's meditation, but it really feels good.
It does.
Because we breathe so
I
shallowly
do the same
when we get nervous.
Take a good pause.
when I take the deep breath,
Yeah.
because
Right.
I get,
So you're focusing on one thing, one aspect.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you visualized yourself in perfect health? Over and over again.
I would like some assistance with that,
Okay.
yes.
You know why? Because you don't believe it.
Uh,
So when you believe it, the visualization becomes stronger. So when we take a visual of what we're trying to do, and then apply positive energy to that, and then believe it's going to happen, voila,
Believe it is.
or already has.
Yes, that,
Already has.
Perfect.
So that's the secret behind creative visualization. It's been around for years. In the 70s, the Soviet Union used it to form great athletes. Right? Everybody know of John Claude Keely? Okay. The year of the Olympics, when he was supposed to ski, he broke his leg. He could not practice at all going down the slopes. He was a skier, Olympic skier. So he did it all in his head. He visualized every run, day after day after day. And that's what he accredited to winning the Olympics. He said it was the best run he ever did, with no practice, purely mental.
You mean after he healed, he went back and won? Oh, okay.
He had to visualize.
He did the race, he did the slalom, or whatever it was.
But he was
He
healing,
won.
yeah.
But it was all because he visualized it, because he couldn't practice.
Yeah.
By just visualizing, our muscles go through all kinds of contractions. By thinking about what we're doing. I'm gonna bring somebody up here. Ann, will you come up? I'm gonna just show you the power of energy following thought. Okay, I'm gonna just face the crowd. This is my old dear friend Ann from years ago. And surprised to see her. So Ann, put your arm out straight like this. Okay. I want you to think of something that makes you really happy. And remember a time when you felt really strong on top of the world. Can you think of a time? Or think of something that makes you happy? Okay. Now I'm going to press down, and I want you to resist me as much as you can. Okay? Tell me when you're ready. Ready? Okay. She's pretty strong, right? Now I want you to think of something that makes you sad. Okay, and you got it? Okay. Just one single thought. She went from strong to weaker. So what happens, you can sit down.
I just,
You're amazed. Yeah. Okay. One thought can change our whole physical being. And what's happening when we're thinking things over and over again? Are we making ourselves healthy, or are we making ourselves sick? Both, depending upon what you're thinking about. So energy follows thought, as you just saw. Here's another one. Everybody go like this. And then open your hands like this, 2 fingers. Oh, good, you're doing it too. Okay. And I want you to just think, look at your fingers and think about them as being two attracting magnets. And watch what happens. Now that thought created that energy to move all the little tiny muscles all the way down to your fingers to make it go
That's
together.
amazing.
What's,
The power of the
Let me
mind.
just- I'm just wondering if when you put your fingers like that, wouldn't they normally just relax in that?
No, you can
No,
go
because
together.
we started out holding them apart.
And then they go together.
Because mine seem to go together anyway. Oh, hey.
Well, there's always one of them.
No, but it's when she said, think of it as a magnet, that it happens.
That's already in my head. Okay.
So, now that you get an idea of how quickly our thoughts affect what we do, what we think, what we become. What we think about, we become. What we believe, we become. So, if you're happy with how you are, great. Do more of that thinking. If you're not, then maybe we need to adjust the thinking. You know, where are the thoughts? Are they negative or are they positive? So by getting a visual of our thoughts and understanding how we think and we learn by pictures, gives us a better ability to create the life we want to create. So if you look here, one of my favorite authors who wrote the book, Creative Visualization, Shiitake Goenks, she says, creative visualization is the technique of using your imagination to create what you want in your life. There's nothing new, strange, or unusual about creative visualization. You are already using it every day, every minute, in fact. It is your natural power of imagination, the basic creative energy of the universe, which you use constantly, whether you are aware of it or not. Imagination is the ability to create an idea or mental picture in your mind. In creative visualization, you use your imagination to create a clear image of something you wish to manifest. Then you continue to focus on the idea or picture regularly. Now that's the key. To do it often, over and over and over again. Giving it positive energy until it becomes objective reality. In other words, until you actually achieve what you've been visualizing.
How do you get your mind, well, you say it won't work unless you think it's gonna work, right? How do you get your mind to focus into that,
To focus or to believe?
to believe?
Okay. Our beliefs are things we've heard over and over again until we hear them, we believe they're true. Right?
Right.
For what's true for you might not be true for somebody else. It's
Right.
your perspective. It's your belief system. Why do you believe your name is your name?
Because that's what I've been called all along.
Because everybody's called you that over and over again. Little kids who brought up to believe they're no good and they can't do anything, what happens to them?
They believe it.
They grow up believing it. Versus kids who have been empowered saying, you can do anything you put your mind to. Go out there and run. See yourself run. Where do you think they get? It's what we hear over and over again. It's what we see. It's our environment. It's everything that makes our world, which is our memories and our experiences, cause our belief systems. Cults. How do you think they stay in cults? Because they convince them that this is true
Repeat it
over and over and over again.
So what you're saying is if I continue to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, eventually it'll be set in my mind again. Okay.
Right. So if you want it to work, if you want to believe, you just have to do it. Nobody can do it for you. So it's what you take in, what you believe. Just like with hypnosis, people always ask me, well, how do I know if I'm a good candidate for hypnosis? Because if you can focus and you're open and it agrees with your belief system, your unconscious mind will take that in as true and therefore make it happen. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we have to be very careful about what we visualize, and it's getting more and more important all the time. Donald Trump, he has big visions, right? There's a lot of people who see that differently. Some agree with his vision, some do not agree with his vision, but it's all based on their belief system and what they're surrounded with and what they see in the picture of their mind. Talked to somebody the other day, and you know, politics is always a no-no, but his vision just went ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and before we knew it, it was the end of the world. Because the imagination just kept creating all these scenarios in his head. Have you ever had little kids that will talk to you about their imagination? And they go on like a stream, right? It's a stream of consciousness. And it takes on another thought. Because energy follows thought, it's attracting whatever you're thinking. So here I'm really giving everybody my whole speech here, but there's a universal law that says you have 17 seconds to change the momentum of a thought before it collects another thought just like that. So the first thought you have in the morning is going to determine your day. So
It's
if
like a
you
magnet's gonna keep attracting more of the same.
Exactly. If you wake up thinking, oh, I don't want to go to work today, I don't want to get out of bed today, I feel awful, my back ache, ugh. And it keeps going, right? You keep finding all these excuses not to get out of bed, and then you hate it. Versus if you get up and you say, today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a really, really great day. And you hold that thought for longer than 17 seconds. You're going to get another thought, kind of maybe questioning like, well, how is this going to be a great day? And then it just kind of goes on its merry way, collecting, well, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Lo and behold, you have a great day. Or a great golf game. Yes. Or a great operation. Whatever it is, you want to focus on what you want. Yes?
But isn't it, I mean, sometimes when I wake up, I mean, if I feel like crap, I feel like crap. So it's,
You have to talk yourself out.
you know, you're not feeling
Say, I may
well.
not feel really good, but I'm going to feel better and better. I'm going to feel better and better. You always want to take a negative thought and turn it around as soon as you can. So if you wake up and you say, I feel like crap, well, there could be reasons you feel like crap. If you can do something about it, do it. If you can't, you just have to kind of change your mind and say, all right, I don't feel so hot, but I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel better. Does that sound better?
Do you think that pertains to like physical ailments as well? Like
Yes.
if your sciatica is bothering you, or
Yes.
your stomach, or
So you have to talk it into yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So what if you're having a good day and you get a call from the high school? And there's something, you know,
terrible.
terrible with your kid, then how do you turn that, like, how do you try to turn that around? Then you're driving, like, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him. And then you just, but then that
That escalates.
for the whole day, I mean, it's shot from that one.
All right. Well, first of all, there's things that cause us stress. Events, circumstances, and people. We can't really control those. We can control how we perceive them and how we react to them. So you could either take a deep breath and say, this is Johnny's journey. I'm just going to help him or her however I can and try and understand it. Because by getting you mad is like giving him the poison, or you taking the poison and expecting him to die. Because all your thoughts and worries and so forth are making you go like that. Right? Because your thoughts are making you anxious, sick, angry, and those are all changing your whole physical system.
Yeah.
So it's not what happens, it's how you react or respond. And you always have a choice. We have free will, right? And that's our gift to decide what we want to do and how we want to react. So why is that important and part of creative visualization? Because number one, pay attention to your thoughts. What are you seeing as pictures? If you can control it, if you can get things into your life by visualizing over and over again. How many people, I do this all the time, visualize the perfect parking spot when they're going to go somewhere? It works. It works.
Really?
On my way to Longmeadow shops where there's never any space, I visualize the perfect spot. 9 out of 10 times I get it. If I, start when you're Longmeadow, if I start right there, sometimes it doesn't work. But you wanna do it over and over again, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. Was there anything, think in your life of something you wanted when you were a kid, and you got? Can you think of those things? Maybe you wanted a puppy or a kitten, you just wanted it, you could see it, lo and behold, it appears, right? Anybody have any stories like that?
You know, I'm gonna twist it a little differently, and that is, I have a daughter who always says, the harder I work, the luckier I get. You know, and she's really a go-getter, and she works extremely hard, and she's been quite successful. And if you say, hey, you know, it's really great, she says, well, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
That's her
So
belief.
that is her belief, that it's her effort and her concentration and all those things
Right.
that gets her there. So I don't know whether that's the same as visualization.
Well,
but
she
it seems-
probably has a vision of where she wants to go. Maybe she wants a promotion, maybe she wants a home, maybe there's a reason that she's doing that. Usually we attach a vision to what we want. You're not aware of it, but that's what comes first. So, I'm trying to think of another example of things that you
Well, like
visualize.
a guitar, I remember when I wanted a guitar. And I don't think of, I mean, that's not really a good example, because your parents maybe sort of know you want it and you get it, but still,
But they
it
don't
seems
have
like
to
it
give
comes
to
soon after you start thinking
Start
about it
thinking
or
about it.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and if you, when you become more aware of it, things just start showing up, and you're like, oh, I was just thinking about that. Or have you ever been thinking about somebody and they call you, oh, I was just thinking about you. That's energy, we're all energy.
It's also, for me, it's perspective of always imagining good. I'm imagining a good outcome. I have an expectation of a good outcome. Any of my friends would tell you, I don't expect something not to go well. I have I envision, I think you and I have had some of the same training, but I envision things to go well,
Right.
most of the time. It's an expectation, whether it's a parking place or
Yeah.
whatever, it's just,
And it's
that's
so
how the
much
universe
easier.
works for me.
Yes, it's the law of attraction.
Yes.
And it makes it so you don't have to work so hard. By seeing your dreams a reality before they happen. So if anybody have anything that they really want to attain in life? An object, they want to change a situation,
I want to change the situation.
okay.
I recently moved and I have a lot of boxes that I have to unpack and I don't want to do it, so I
Follow the
don't,
wizard.
so I don't do it.
Okay, so that's, you're procrastinating.
Yeah, big
Well,
time.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what we all do. We run away from things we don't want to do, and we run towards the things that give us pleasure.
But then I'm mad because I didn't do it. I'm mad at myself.
So, what you're seeing is a situation as something you don't want to do. So what if by doing that, you got some pleasure out of it? What could possibly come by doing that?
Well, I'm happier that I got rid of the, you know, I got stuff put away instead of all over the place.
What else? What are all the benefits that would come from doing that?
Oh, the house would look better. I'd feel better. I'd see progress instead of no progress.
Yeah. So when you start seeing the benefits, does that feel like it would be easier now to accomplish it?
I don't know, I'll try it tomorrow.
Because what you're looking at is in a negative,
Exactly.
and that's what you're going away from.
Exactly.
And that's how our brains work. We run away from pain towards pleasure all the time. So as long as you're continuing to see that as a nightmare, hell job, you're not gonna do it,
Right.
right? So, or because we tell ourselves, it's too hard, it's too hard, it's too hard. We begin to believe it's too hard. It's not too hard. It may be hard, but it's not too hard. So what you do is you start changing that picture. So right now, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And just imagine how your house would look when all those boxes are gone. Can you see a visual? Okay. Now imagine you're seeing yourself clear all those very quickly, easily, and effortlessly.
That I can't see or imagine. I don't do anything quickly.
All right, we'll just say box number 1, pretend you have a cat in a hat there. And then thing 1 and thing 2 are taking care of it. it's all done. Now take that positive energy, how good you'll feel when it's all done, and apply it to that same visual. And feel that it's all done, it's complete, you're enjoying your home, you have so much more free time, it's not nagging at you. Can you feel how that's different?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, same affirmation to cement that, saying the power to get rid of all the boxes is manifesting in me. You want to say an affirmation always, as long as it's for the best for everybody involved, and you will be able to do it. Because now you've just changed your thought to how you're looking at it. So how you're looking at it won't dominate as much as it was before. Because as soon as you give your mind a different way to look at things,
Yeah, it's true.
it's going to change your situation. I'm going to ask, anybody here want to talk about one of their experiences using creative visualization?
Well, I play golf, and I play at golf. I really wanted to do a better job and play a better game. So I talked to Sandy about this, and we talked through how I might be able to approach the shot instead of looking at this and saying, oh my God, I've got to go over the river. I can see this wet ball. I would just calm down, picture that ball with a nice swing going right over the river, no problem at all. I pictured where I wanted it to go and stood up the ball, at the ball, closed my eyes for 1 second, took a deep breath, swung my normal swing, and it always goes where I want it to go.
Wonderful.
It's amazing. When I forget to do that, trust me, I go right in the water, or I go in the woods. But it's amazing when you really think about what you want to do and where you want to go, it happens.
How long does it take you to do that?
About
I mean,
3 or 4
are you standing
seconds.
at the,
I'm
for a
glad
long
you
time?
asked. Before I even get to the golf course,
Oh, okay.
I stop and take a few moments to center myself and think about what a great day it's going to be, and I'm going to have a great game. And I'm really good at this, and I really enjoy the people that I'm with.
Have you ever got a hole in one?
Not yet, but I came very close just the other day. But it's okay. When I get up there to actually do the swing, every time I do it, I stop and take a couple of deep breaths, picture where I want that ball to go, and just sweep through.
And I have another girl that I'm working with right now, a 16-year-old, getting in the junior LPGA. And her parents just stopped me the other day. She said, Emma just got her first trophy ever. She came in second. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was so wonderful for me to hear, because that's exactly what we were working on. I said, what do you want at the end of this game? She said, I want the trophy. I said, okay. So we did the whole creative visualization on seeing her get the trophy, what it felt like in her hands, what it looked like, what everybody's around her thought, and the whole thing, and she got it that next game. It's so powerful, and it works. Athletes all the time use it. There's, in this list, there's 8 successful people who use the power of visualization. People you know in there, Oprah was a big one, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Carrey. It's nothing new, but it's powerful. The thing is, we have to remember to do it.
Is this similar to the power of positive thinking? There was a book written by Norman Vincent.
Yeah. When you think about it, you brain about it. Say you're in a horrible relationship and you don't know how to get out of it. Okay? There's many people out there that are in that. But they are looking at the horrible situation that might cause them to get out of it. All they're seeing is the negative, therefore they say stop. And they believe they can't do anything about it. But if they started thinking all the benefits, how it might look, how they would want it to look, then they have the motivation and the belief that life could be better. Okay? But it's what we choose to believe. And that's the trick, We have to be open-minded, we have to be receptive, and you have to do this in a very relaxed manner. You can't be driving over a bridge and saying, I need to create this, you know? You can't do it in a tense situation, you're just blocking everything. Relaxation is key.
Yes, relaxation is key, and like this lady said, over here, how she's like the energized bunny, and I'm like that all the time. And actually, it kind of, sometimes will take a next step and I get a lot of anxiety. So it's very, very hard for me, even with the breathing, and I get my organic tea and my cup of calm tea and my vitamins, and I'm
Because your thoughts are turned into
but I'm
training.
wired like that, I'm just really high strung.
Yeah.
I can go all day.
But imagine if you turn those thoughts around into really good momentum counts. What you could do.
What happens if you have a situation with somebody that in your life, this happened to a friend of mine, that she stopped seeing this particular person, and now all she does, and she broke it up, all she does is think about him. So,
Thinking that she wants to go back to him.
I don't know, just thinking, so,
Just thinking, she can't get him out of her head.
that's it.
Remember that old song, I'm gonna wash this man out of my head?
Out of my hair.
Out of my head, right. Well, literally, she has to start thinking of other things. She has to start thinking of the benefits of not being with that particular person, because right now, she's still focused on her old memories. She's not seeing what could happen if she moves ahead. So we get stuck in our own thoughts over and over again. And we have to be very careful who influences us, who we talk to, you know, because our friends, our best friends may have our best interests at heart, but they can say one wrong thing and boom, there goes your confidence, right? So we're very fragile, so we want to make sure that you take time to do the creative visualization, no matter what's happening around you, several times a day, and focus it to get the life you want, to bring the things into your life that you want, because you are always going to be bombarded. So you want to repeat these exercises on a more frequent basis, and they'll override the negative things. Anyone else? I know Cindy had to go through an operation, several of them, and she used creative visualization. I'd like her to mention that, how you did that.
Yeah, so for me, it all started the summer of 2014, and what appeared to be something that looked like it was going to be easily overcome actually turned into a very serious health challenge for me, and multiple complications, 4 surgeries, and by the time that was over, September of 2014, it looked like it was going to be smooth sailing, but it wasn't, because then it was a whole year of more medical challenges, more medications, time with the surgeon, the specialist. And it wasn't until November of 2015 that I was with my surgeon, and she said, you know, you ought to try going to hypnosis just to help you deal with the anxiety and the stress of everything. And what had happened to me is that I ended up really having a victim mentality and became profoundly depressed and really isolated myself, because it was just very difficult for me to cope, and I pretty much shut the world out. And it was interesting because when you were talking about coincidences, I don't think it was a coincidence, because an hour after I met with my surgeon, I met Sandy in the cheese section at Big Y. That was meant to be. That just wasn't a coincidence. And so we met.
But the thought was on her mind.
It was the next step.
Just said,
Yeah, it
so
was.
she was aware of it. Otherwise, we would have passed.
Right, and she was.
An hour after you talked, I'm sorry, excuse me,
Yeah.
an hour after you talked to your surgeon, you bumped into her.
I bumped into her.
But did you know her before?
No,
that was
never.
actually
Oh, you had your own.
And I had just thought, you know, what the hell I'm gonna ask her? And I said, you know, excuse me, but do you do that? And she said, well, actually I do. And she was having an open house, which I didn't go to. But she gave me her contact information. I called her immediately. And for me, that really made the difference between where I was last fall and where I am today. And You know, the winter did not go without, without illness, because I had some health issues during the winter. But I think through creative visualization, I was able to deal with that a lot better and get over things a lot quicker. And I felt that I got my strength back, and I had a surgery May 9th. And we had a session the week before surgery, and she did some creative visualization with me. And the day of my surgery, as they were wheeling me into the OR, I just kept visualizing this healing pond that she had me visualize. And she said to choose 2 people that I felt very safe around. And it was my father and my grandfather, who were both deceased, but I just visualized swimming in this pond with them. And so the surgery went very, very well. And a week later, I did end up having a complication. I filled up with fluid, and they had to take me back in. And once again, I had the same visualization, and knock on wood, I've been great since then. And I see my surgeon in a couple weeks. And yeah, so it's gone very well. And I do have those, when you're talking about how things can be going really well, and then something happens and just sets you off, and it's all downhill from there. I do have those days, but I can kind of pull myself back in and balance myself when I think about just visualizing. And it does help, and it doesn't mean that you don't have shitty days anymore, because you do, but I think it's just the way that you approach those shitty days.
How many sessions did it take for you to get into that mindset that you could do that?
So I ended up having an intro session, and then I had 6 sessions. And then the week before my last surgery this past May, I had a session. But it's something that you take with you, and I've used those moments of visualization for other things in my life too.
Do you write anything down? Like, did you write anything down that
I
she
do.
tells you?
I do,
You know,
I do,
like I
and
have-
she wrote things down.
I do a
for
lot
me
of,
as
I have a
well.
lot of stickies
Yeah.
of
those are all-
positive
yeah.
thoughts and
Affirmations.
just,
Affirmations, or they just make it stronger.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you use creative visualization, if you look on the exercise page, on the second page, these are the steps that you want to follow in doing the creative visualization. And one of them is the affirmations, and you can do that by writing things out all over the place, putting things up all over. You can have people repeat them to you, where, say, Mary wants to improve her golf game. She said, I'm getting really good at golf. And I go, yes, Mary, you are. All right, you just reinforce each other. And it's funny, it reminds me of Neil Donald Walsh video. Did you see that one where he talks about God? Anybody know Neil Donald Walsh? He wrote Conversations with God. Well, it says, God only knows one language, and that's one word, and that's yes. So whenever we say anything to ourselves, we say, I'm a really bad athlete. Yes. God will say. Or I'm a superstar. Yes. I'm really lousy at golf. Yes, you are. So just think in those terms. Whatever you're saying to yourself, if you hear yes, and that makes you feel good, that's great. If you hear yes and it makes you feel bad, get rid of that thinking. I call that stinking thinking. Because if you said, I'm really ugly, and somebody said, yes, you are. Oh, how would you feel, right?
You'd feel affirmed that you are in fact unattractive.
Yes, but it would also lower your self-confidence. And it has repetitive buildup over and over and over again. So it's check in with those thoughts all the time.
And that's the same, somebody was mentioning, teenagers. I have a teenager I struggle with who's just turned 18, and I think that the things that come out of my mouth, I have to think about how I'm saying the things, because she's not doing A, B, C, and she's like, it's the way you communicate with me. I said, okay, let's sit down, let's talk about what I'm doing and what you're doing and try to make it better, because you always think that, well, they have to do these things, but it's the way like, you aren't doing this, or you never do this, you don't wanna say it in those terms, yeah, yeah.
Tough affirmations for your.
Never and always,
Yeah,
never.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say never, but I'm just like, you haven't done this or you haven't done that, as opposed to, oh, I'm so pleased that you did this, that, and really, woo-hoo, you know?
Because you'll get more of that.
Yeah,
What you focus on is what you're going to get more of.
right.
So I had a 16-year-old in who came in last week, and he didn't do well on his finals, comparatively speaking. I said, what did you set out to do? He said, I just wanted to study enough to get a B, C in this, and he named off the grades. And I said, what did you get? And he said, a B, C, and I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you got exactly what you wanted to get. It wasn't maybe Mom's idea. But he was so upset because he was disappointing Mom. And he said, I keep hearing Mom saying, you need to spend more time studying, you need to do this, you need to do that. And he said, I know I'm gonna disappoint her. The tears were rolling down his head. And I said, but who did you end up pleasing? He said, myself. And I said, who's most important to please?
Himself.
Myself. Focus on the strengths always.
Always.
So how do you?
Strengths in your marriage, strengths in your friendships, strengths in
Because that's what
your
you're gonna see.
muscles, everything.
Yeah.
If you look for the negative, you'll see it.
Retrain, if you have all like these thoughts, if you're,
She's got a lot going
like I'm
on.
not in a good situation, I haven't been in a good situation, so you have a lot of thoughts in your head, you know, somebody beat you down for so long. You're trying to overcome that, trying to overcome that, so you carry like a index card on this, on that. But there's some days, I mean, obviously it's one baby step forward, 10 back, but what I was hearing too, because it is the second guessing that is the most, that's what kills me the most, that's why I am my own victim.
That's because it's become your belief system. You have to start seeing it in your mind's eye, working out better, seeing yourself larger than life.
And they were almost,
working it
somebody
out.
was saying that there's another therapy, it's like you train your left brain to right brain, I'm not sure what that is, you know what that?
Well, our left brain is the one that is very logical, analytical, linear.
I'm not sure which
thinking.
one it is, but it's some therapy that like you train if you've been through some traumatic.
EMDR.
Yes, that's it.
That's where you watch a thing go like this.
And so how is that as opposed to getting, you know, I guess if every day you have to keep saying your affirmations?
Well, one thing you can do is write down your beliefs, what you think about the situation, and then rewrite it.
Good or bad, write them down?
Rewrite it in a good way.
Oh.
Whatever you're thinking, rewrite it. Like, I am out of this relationship. I'm enjoying my freedom. Those things.
Very important, when you're doing the affirmations, to speak in the present, not, I am going to be making a lot of money this year. Not future thinking, present thinking. I am experiencing vibrant health. I am in a loving relationship. I have plenty of energy to tackle this messy whatever. Instead of,
I'm going to.
I will, don't state it in present tense, it's as
In
if.
future tense, you don't want to say.
Yeah.
And doing the affirmations, if you look on that page, the exercise, and we're gonna do one together real quick. As she was talking about, you wanna make all those affirmations in the present tense. And then you always want to apply positive energy to that. See yourself accomplishing it, see yourself having it, notice how it feels in every cell of your body, and apply that over and over again. Sometimes people don't know how to do that, the positive energy thing. So what I try and tell people, think back to a time that you accomplished a goal and you felt really good. Maybe you got all A's when you were in school. Maybe you won a trophy, whatever it is. You can think of one time that you really felt really, really good about yourself and bring that energy back. And then when you get that energy feeling, that's what you want to feel like you're back there doing this or that. Does that make sense? A little harder to comprehend. Okay.
And if it involves another person, like your child, you would write it in your terms of yourself. Like, I envision myself having a positive relationship with my older daughter and helping her and seeing her bloom and.
Best thing you can do is see her bloom and get
Oh,
where
okay.
she wants to do.
Yeah,
Your thoughts of her succeeding alone will be more powerful than you second guessing her.
oh, that's
You wanna visualize her, you can do energy healing from state to state, country to country, by seeing that person well. That energy will go there, and it will affect them.
Oh, thank you.
So you always want to see ill people sick. You don't wanna go down there with them. You wanna see them healthy and thriving. You may not want to say that to them, because people can be very sensitive, but in your own mind, that's how you wanna think. You don't wanna go down that negative tube with them, because you're gonna just pull all that energy that way. People who really believe they can beat cancer, they beat cancer. You know, the doctors who give people 3 to 6 months or whatever, that always happens. But the ones who they don't say how long they have, they're the ones that beat it, and they were in stage 4 cancer, because it's up to them. So you want to be thinking of that. So right now, I want you to look at this page, and we'll do a quick exercise. But before that, Cindy, do you have anything?
One thing I have is, it is a process. For me, it is, first of all, it's identifying the thoughts that you have. 'Cause you don't ever really think about it, so you start to identify those thoughts. And then you start to look at whether they're positive and negative. And then what Sandy says, you learn how to turn those around into positive thinking. So, it starts with a thought. You make it a positive thought. You have to believe it. If you believe it, it's true. You have to see it. That's where the creative visualization comes in. You see it in your mind, and then you have to feel it. So if you can get that whole process in place and you can do it consistently, it works. And I can tell you it works. I do weight loss with Sandy. I do life coaching with Sandy. We have goals. I've achieved a lot of the goals that I've set out to achieve at this point. And you have to maintain it consistently. And it's easy, and I sometimes have issues with consistency, but, I do a hypnosis session with Sandy, and restores my focus, and I'm good to go again, hit the ground. And it's just retraining yourself, and if you can do that, it makes a huge difference, because like I've said, if you can't change your life circumstances, you can change how you think about it, and that makes all the difference. So it's life-changing in that respect.
What do you mean when you say you feel it after you think it?
You just feel what it would be like to achieve, if you have a particular goal that you set out, you just feel what it would be like to achieve.
If your room is uncluttered, if your refrigerator
But
is
it's like
filled with healthy
emotional,
food, yeah.
emotional rather than like thinking of what it is you want to.
Well, it starts in a thought.
Right.
Thought turns into an emotion, and an emotion turns into a feeling.
Okay.
Anxiety is nothing but the feeling of fear, because it
The
started
feeling
with a
of
thought. The feeling of fear. And fear is false evidence appearing real.
What is that?
False evidence appearing real. Okay. So, Ann used to work with me. I was in sales many years before I did this. And I was one of the top saleswomen in the company. And people used to ask me, how do you do this? How do you do it? Everything you touch turns to gold. And I said, yeah, I visualize it. I used to lie in bed and visualize jumping on my bed with money jumping all around me. I honestly thought I did. And you do it over and over again. And, in sales, they have all kinds of training. They tell you, before you go in and make a sales call, you have to stay in the car and say, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, over and over and over again until you go in. Because the normal salesperson goes up to make the call, and they look at the door and they go, oh, what if he doesn't buy? Oh, I'm not gonna make my mortgage payment. Oh my God, and you start thinking negative thoughts. You go in there, you aren't gonna sell a thing, You go in there believing it doesn't matter. You're just there to have a good time. You get the order. You get it all the time. And you can't tell everybody that secret.
I won't.
But it's fun. You can have fun with it. You should have fun with it. Life is supposed to be fun and challenging, right?
I have a hard time falling asleep.
Okay.
I get up about 4 or 5 times during the day, at night, and I gotta take Tylenol or something to knock me out. And I'm tired all day long.
Before you go to bed at night, tell yourself you're gonna have a nice, long, restful sleep. Okay? Because when you wake up, and even if you wake up, this is a little secret, I don't know if many people know, but it seems to be common with a lot of people. They wake up and then they can't go back to sleep. Most of the time, you have to go to the bathroom. Because our body is so intelligent that it wakes us up before we really feel that we have to go. And people say, oh no, I don't have to go. I said, just try it. You go back, you go to sleep. Because your body's been answered.
But I can't fall back to sleep. I'm
Tell-
wide awake.
Start telling yourself you will. You can. I'm gonna have a restful sleep. Just expect it.
You can learn how to do body scanning, relaxation body scanning. It's where you progressively just scan your whole body, and as you do, you connect with each area of muscles, and you say to yourself, I'm now releasing any tension in that area. And that's very relaxing.
Progressive relaxation, yeah. That's how I used to teach my daughter to go to sleep when she was little. And she'd be out before she got to her waist.
And that's called body scanning?
Progressive relaxation, you know, it's basically relaxing yourself every part. By, remember just telling yourself? So you say feet relax. And you work up to your ankles and your shins and you work up your entire body. That's how I get people into a hypnotic state. You go from a beta state, which is very conscious level, mind awake state, to an alpha state, where it's more relaxed and calm. And then when your mind is relaxed and calm, it's open to the power of suggestion. My suggestion, your friend's suggestion, your husband's, whatever you're hearing, you're open to that, okay? So everybody want to try this, or
Yes.
have more questions? Okay. So close your eyes, everybody get comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take about 3 deep breaths. And just notice how your body feels as it becomes more and more relaxed. Now, if you're really going to do this at home, you want to give yourself enough time to really get in a relaxed state. We're just going to walk through the exercise so you know how to do it. So once you're in a deep, relaxed state, you don't have to even be deep, but you feel relaxed, you feel calm. Then you want to imagine a situation or an object that you want to change. Or you can think of that before you do the relaxation. It really doesn't matter either way. But once you have that idea, that image, that object, that situation or circumstance, I want you to visualize it. And I want you to visualize it working out exactly as you want it to. Or having that object, holding it. For example, if you wanted a new Mercedes, imagine what it feels like to sit in that seat. Put your hands on the wheel. Notice if there's any sounds or smells.
Is that me?
No. So imagine everything you can about that object, situation, or